Hey, how's it going, guys? We are back with yet another Dexter reaction for New Blood. This time on to episode number 3. Last time we had Dexter kind of helping the police force find the kid he murdered. He murdered body. The kid who was I know the kid's name. I know the kid's name. I promise. Matt Caldwell. His name was Matt Caldwell, and his dad's name was Kurt. His dad's name was Kurt Caldwell. His dad, played by Clancy Brown. Kurt showed up at the very end. And I think the entire episode, I think he was just spent kind of covering his own tracks and just kind of like trying to, like not necessarily prolong the search, but just kind of like help bring it to kind of like a swiftish kind of end, so that he could carry on with his own life and carry on with his own daily business, and then not have this like one murder after 10 years be the thing that actually gets him caught out and everything. But then at the very end, Matt's dad, Kurt, came in and he convinced the entire town to actually kind of still stick through and actually stick with it until they actually found him or found a sign of what actually happened to him and everything. So that stuff happened. We had Harrison. We actually had some history with Harrison. Hannah's dead. Hannah died. I think he mentioned like 3 years ago. Hannah died of pancreatic cancer, so she died. So no Hannah McKay in this. No Yvonne Strahovski in this. So she's dead. And then I think after that, I think he still mentioned he was still like a I think near enough like still a teenager. And still in need of actual kind of parental care. So then he just kind of bounced around within the system, within Miami and everything. So he didn't have the most fun time with that. And then I think he also like very briefly mentioned some like kind of drug use with the other kids too. I think he actually mentioned that he was actually sober and he had like an issue with it in the past, but he was actually sober now, so he didn't really do much of anything. So that was interesting. Um, and one little tidbit, I think, is it's been on my mind ever since I actually finished watching that episode. I think it's been on my mind ever since I actually ever since I actually kind of like for the past couple of weeks now. Um, like yeah, so then when the kids asked, like he told the kids that his stepmother Hannah died of pancreatic cancer, but then his actual birth mother died much long before that. They asked him how it happened, and he couldn't tell them how. So then like it was just like a couple of weeks ago. I remember like I was actually thinking back to that scene, and then I remembered like, oh yeah, one of the kind of things about him that kind of gave Dexter a bit of relief back when Rita died was that he was actually a lot younger than Dexter was when his mother died. So because of that, like the doctor and I think the psychologist and everything assured him that because he was so young, his like his brain wasn't like developed enough to to actually retain those kinds of memories, and he wouldn't remember a thing. So I think think it look I think looking back, that's actually like I think it's like a really neat kind of callback to the fact that he actually can't remember. He I think he maybe part of, I mean, maybe he might know she was murdered, but I think he like he might know that she was murdered or killed, or that like something happened, but he just clearly doesn't remember any kind of intricate details about it. So I think that's actually like a really kind of neat enough kind of callback that like when they ask him like how like what happened to her, he doesn't exactly know like what to tell them. Like he either doesn't know exactly what happened or he doesn't know how it happened, but it's still kind of like a blank thing in his memory. So I think that's it's a really neat kind of callback, and I remembered it like after I did that reaction, so that was cool. So that he spent some time with the kids, and the kids didn't really kind of. I mean, well, thingy, Angela's daughter. What's her name? What's Angela's daughter's name? What's Angela's daughter's name? I had that written down. Audrey. Audrey. She trusted him. She trusted him. They got along well enough. They talked and they bonded and they got along enough. And she respected his privacy, which the other kids apparently seemed incapable of doing. And they rifled through his stuff and found his artwork and everything. So he very nearly walked in on them doing. I mean, he still saw them through the wall and everything, but then he didn't really kind of address it or anything. So wonder if that's going to come up, but I think they kind of rifled through his stuff and found his artwork and everything, so he's still like a talented kind of kid and everything, and he's still kind of good, and he still helped out with the investigation and everything, so that was cool. So now I think by the end of the episode, they actually established that he would be kind of staying with Dexter for the time being and kind of still working through things, and even the conversation that Dexter had with Angela halfway through too, about actually if he was really going to be staying here long term, then he'd have to be settled into like a whole new life with school and college and driving and all these different things that kids here the kid his age would be just about getting ready for. So yeah, well, I guess we'll see just exactly how well Harrison actually integrates into this new setting, this new location, actually life with his dad. So I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. But there was that, and then there was the girl in the motel room. The girl who actually took shelter in the motel room, and took some. I think she had some really dodgy kind of candy. It's she had some dodgy kind of strawberries in chocolate, I think it was, and then she had some really dodgy champagne too. I think she took from the champagne, and then I think it was over the course of like a night or two, and then she actually found her stuff missing, and then she found out that there was actually a camera in there watching her the whole time, and there was some guy watching her as well. So we have like a mystery hotel killer on our hands. So I think I'm wondering if that might be this season's kind of actual prime antagonist too. Maybe like if Dexter discovers that like not only is he now trying to cover up his own murder, but and then now there's like actually yet another kind of potential serial killer on the loose in this, even in this remote. I mean, really, technically, even in this kind of new remote kind of town that he's actually moved to run away from all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing how that stuff progresses and seeing how that stuff moves forward. So that should be fun. That should be fun. Was there really anything else? I don't think so. I think, yeah, I mean, we also very briefly explored the letter that had Dexter wrote to Hannah, asking her to keep an eye out for Harrison and to actually kind of try and keep an eye out for any dark tendencies in him and contact Dexter if such things kind of arose. So we know that letter was part of the reason why Harrison kind of grew up with so much kind of resentment about himself and so much kind of self-doubt and everything, that something must have been wrong with him that made his dad kind of leave him and stuff and not really return. So we very briefly explored that, so I'm wondering if that might come into play later on in the season, so that would be cool. Edward Olsen, he was also brought back, just like a rich dude who apparently, he does some philanthropy on the side, but, his actual main business exploits are pretty much the talk of the town, and the reason that people kind of distrust him and dislike him so strongly, so there's him. But yeah, no, I think that's pretty much all there is, as far as I've gotten. So yeah, on to episode number 3 of this new season. So yeah, I guess we can find out exactly how the story's going to continue and how Harrison's going to fit into town and how Dexter's going to kind of, introduce people to his son and introduce his son to the people and everything, and how he's going to try and, keep Matt's kind of burial literally under his front yard covered up and everything. So I guess we'll see. So on to episode number 3. So let's go.
All because I made one tiny mistake and killed someone.
Oh yeah, one teeny tiny mistake. Just an accidental slip of the knife.
You all wrestle?
Now?
I'm the assistant coach of the high school team. You should
try okay. I thought you meant literally right now. Just wrestling. No. Yeah, I've been told to look away when the previews pop up. Yeah, those previews. Well, I've not been told, but, it was pointed out to me that it could be considered spoiler-worthy, so.
Foster care. And where were you? Yeah. Why don't you tell them why you left your beloved son?
Oh, God.
I heard you speaking Spanish the other day. ¿De dónde eres?
Puerto Rico.
Ah.
¿Dónde aprendiste español?
You speak Spanish?
I lived in
Argentina, right, yeah, that would make sense, yeah.
Apparently, Reservation Land Management has footage of Matt Caldwell shooting that deer. I need to talk to you.
Oh, shit. Oh, God, Dexter, there's no way they didn't catch... If they caught the deer, there was no way they didn't catch Dexter. He was, up close and personal with that thing. Don't tell me he was caught in 4K, anything but 4K. Oh, it's thermal imaging.
Cool.
Ah. So they won't catch him. Thermal imaging, yeah.
Pause it.
Oh, God, dudes.
Who's Ethan? That ball sack over there.
They're really spreading nudes throughout the school.
Somebody's in
Oh, artwork.
That's fucked up.
So he sends her artwork and then she sends back nudes. Is that what's happening?
I was calling off the search after the first day because I found a glove. What was I thinking?
What I wanted you to think.
Well, it was substantial evidence, perhaps?
Damien?
This is the CSI? Just one guy, really? Isn't it usually like a team? Or like a pair?
Do you mind if I watch you work the scene?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of those.
Nostalgia
CSI
for him.
shows.
Yeah, his old
Hey, I'm
job.
coming too.
Nostalgia.
My son they're looking for.
The victim came from over there. The attacker from over there. Knocked him down. The victim then fell backwards.
Oh, he's good.
Head right about
He's good. Oh, the rock. Is the rock gone? He cleaned up the rock, right? I think he cleaned up the rock, or he moved it.
There was a rock here.
Oh,
Must have
shit.
been removed after the attack.
Oh, he's good.
Suspect it caused a
He's good.
head injury.
It's Principal Strode.
Oh god, what's
Yeah,
happened?
I'm kind of in the middle of something right now.
It's about Harrison.
Oh, what did he do?
We need you to come down to the
Did he start a fight over the
Harrison
phone?
scored higher than any student has ever scored on the school placement exam.
Holy shit.
So you had me come all the way down here to tell me how great my kid is?
Some of the questions on this test are for advanced placement students, college
Damn.
level. I believe while test was gone, Harrison used his cell phone to look up answers.
Oh, so
I
you
did
think
not.
he cheated? That's the problem
Did you
here.
cheat?
You accusing me of lying, Jim?
To proctor the exam again.
There you go. You take it again.
Oh, thanks for having my back. Like always.
God damn it. Oh. What makes them think he cheated to begin with? Like, is that really just the go-to thing? Like, oh, he must have looked at he can't be naturally, like not even naturally, just he can't be smart or something.
You gonna kill me? Again? Or are other people gonna die? Because that's what always happens, right?
What are you doing in there?
All
Yeah.
yours.
He's having hallucinations about your dead aunt.
All yours.
Retook the test, got a higher score than the first time.
Damn.
That's great. Congrats.
Yeah, no cell phone the second time, and he got an even higher test. He got an even higher thing. So yeah, he is just a smart kid. Oh, he has to move the body. Can he not dig it even deeper, or would that take too long? Because that's what they did in Misfits. When they killed their probation leader, and Simon found out about the whole building, like, thing that they were doing, he actually, you know, buried the bodies even deeper into the ground. So I wonder if you could try that here. Oh, is that the jacket? Is that, I think that's Matt's jacket, right? Or what is it? Oh, is he spreading the scent? Spreading the scent. Yeah, spreading the scent all over the woods. So the dogs are gonna end up like confused and stuff. Or leading out to the highway, carrying the scent out to the highway. Yeah, so carrying it away and actually, yeah. Oh, and he wears a mask too. Can't even recognize those eyes. I can't even recognize those eyes. Is he? Oh, he's gonna catch her with the sniper rifle. Oh god. God, zigzag, zigzag, please make it hard. Zigzag, zigzag, don't run a straight line. Don't run a straight line, just zigzag. Oh, laser targeting as well. Zigzag. Oh god.
Wouldn't want to be prey around here.
Oh, you heard that, yeah?
Hunters get up way too early.
Who are you? Why are you killing people?
I'm sorry I wasn't here to make you breakfast.
Don't worry about it. I learned how to take care of myself. You gonna drive me or should I walk?
Not like it's been a long night or anything.
One less thing for him to lord over you. You abandoned me, now you won't even drive me to school.
I hope they have as much fun running around the woods as I did last night.
Oh yeah, hopefully. Yeah, they just get confused as fuck and then they just eventually get led to the highway.
Hey, little guy.
Yo! No touching. They don't need no confusion with your petting.
This is Matt.
Oh yeah, that's true. They're highly trained for a very specific purpose. Yeah. Audrey? Audrey? Not Audrey, no. Is that Jamie Chung? Is that her name? Is that Jamie Chung?
Police Chief Bishop, right? Hi.
Pretty sure it's Jamie Chung.
And I just have to
Huh.
come help.
Are you a friend of Matt's?
Nope. Just a citizen activist.
An activist.
Hey, is it cool if I tag along? I know.
Oh, just shred it. Just shred the body parts. Oh. Turn them into minced mat. Just make minced mat. Oh, is that guy what cleaning her body? Is he washing her body out? What's he gonna do? Is he pumping her full of shit? Oh no, oh, blood's taken out, I think. They're draining her of blood? Or is it replacing the blood? Taking the blood out of her body and then putting something else in? Well, that's a disturbing sight.
When you girls were younger, Iris always thought the two of you would move to the city, start a band, creator knows what.
Oh, so they were friends. Iris and Angela were friends.
Well, maybe she's out there somewhere now.
Caitlin's not real. You're on.
Oh, so that was them on the phone. It was
real.
fake. Like,
Zach's been catfishing.
yeah, I was questioning that too. Like, they had the number, they had the picture and everything.
Who the fuck are you?
I mean, it's a good thing he hasn't been showing anything else either. He's been showing artwork. They've been sending him other people's nudes, and that's even more fucked up. Yeah. What's he doing? What's he set him up with? What's he doing? They're gonna expose Zach?
Ethan's got a new pick for his girl. Yo.
You're saying that out loud like he wouldn't hear you. Oh damn!
You don't let me get away with that.
Oh
You
snap!
think you're fucking funny, you small dick anime virgin?
Oh jeez!
Leave Ethan alone, or I do this to you every single fucking day.
Oh boy! Damn!
What?
It's a good thing he's doing wrestling, huh? He's gonna, you know, he's gonna perform well out on the mat.
Coach Logan said I made the wrestling team.
Oh,
I'll see you guys on the mat.
oh damn! God, blue steel level threat. Damn, Harrison had him.
You pick up a few things in foster homes.
You learned that in foster home? Jesus, fuck, wow.
Why, you freaked out?
What kind of families was he fostered with?
Sure would be glad when your mom gets that white buck out of my shop.
What?
I thought they would have taken it out by now
What are
because
you gonna do with
they got the bullet out of it.
Andre's mom no longer needs it for evidence. I'll call sanitation to dispose of the carcass.
We should do something before they do.
Like what? You gonna give it a nice ceremony or something? Or is he gonna go like skiing? Is he gonna go skiing?
A 3-mile hike up to the iron mine.
That's skiing stuff, right? Or is it just trekking up the ice so you don't slip? Yeah, okay. Whoa. Is that like a cave? I mean, are these the caves that Angela mentioned? Are these the caves? Oh, and it's Olsen. Oh god, it's the one guy she hates. The one guy Audrey hates. Oh god. Don't tell me he's the motel killer.
You know, I find it funny that you hate me so much. And here you are driving this old gas guzzler. Some might consider that hypocritical. But I don't. People are complicated. Life's complicated. You have a good day, Audrey.
I feel like he has the eyes of the motel killer. He has the eyes of the motel killer, but we can't be too sure. Oh, be very careful where you miss your steps, Dexy Wexy. Oh boy, oh good lord.
Mine's not the body I'm looking to hide.
It's a very good point to make. How deep is it? How do you measure it with sound?
Okay, this'll work.
Okay, it's not too far down, but you could probably still definitely die.
I missed
Be
this.
knocked the fuck out. Bear, bear, fucking murderous Winnie the Pooh. Probably not Honey Bear, but still, I think again, Honey Bears are even a thing. God, that was a real bear, right? That wasn't a hallucination of his. That was a real bear. Had to be a real bear.
You think I feel like cooking for Audrey and Harrison?
Harrison?
Harrison, sorry, yeah, Audrey invited him.
Audrey invited him over.
Now you gotta, yeah.
If you don't want to come, it's okay.
No, now he's gotta
I'd love to
come.
come.
Now he's gotta come, yeah.
I got a bunch of drawings of those assholes. You wanna see?
Thrill me.
He drew. Whoa. Scott and Zach, he's very eloquently labeled them. Is that the Punisher?
What, are you like the Punisher or something?
They'd be fucking scared of me if I was, huh?
Oh,
Fucking
God.
petrified.
Don't tell me they're gonna go down that route with Ethan, with this show. Don't tell me they're gonna go down that route with Ethan.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Wait, let me see that again.
Is it the girl from the bar?
She was in the store today.
Oh, Molly Park. Oh, no.
Loading up on winter gear.
Oh.
So she's a podcaster?
It's only like the most popular true crime podcast out there.
Huh.
I mean, she's like a
true
million
crime.
followers.
Oh, that makes sense.
You're
That's
into
why
true
she's
crime.
really there.
It's murder, but it's funny. I'll text you my top 5.
You could help us move the deer's body, right?
The deer's body,
Your
not
truck bed's big
the
enough?
human's body.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Right?
Great. Because I already told them you'd be doing it tonight.
Tonight. Can they do that tonight? Did she not? They had to wait until the investigation was over? His deer. That's Dexter's deer. Well, his dear, oh dear.
No, I scan.
From now on, this is me on your side.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, Dad, the first
Dad.
from
Wow.
Jim to Dad, from Jim to
My new
Dad.
favorite word.
He used to call you Dad all the time, and now he's reintegrated himself into that. Yeah.
I only wish the rest of my problems would go up in smoke.
Burn the body! You can burn the body, you can burn Matt's body, yeah. And then just dispose of the ashes someplace, yeah, or yeah, let's just burn them. Oh, there's an actual, there's a furnace you can use, an actual incinerator. Yeah.
Finally.
Okay then, so he's burned the body.
Rid of Matt's body for good.
Why? God, you really are terrible at this, aren't you? You didn't even think of this to begin with. Tell me nobody saw him here. Tell me there were no witnesses off in the distance or something.
Maddie's alive. He called me. And we had the best talk. Really great talk. We FaceTimed.
FaceTime?
I actually saw the face of the son that I thought I had lost.
How drunk is he?
That's unbelievable. Hey, my Maddie's alive. Can you believe it?
Actually, no. And why would he lie?
Why would he lie? I think maybe he's just really drunk or just grieving in like a really weird way. That is so creepy. Ashes literally falling on the town. Ashes ashes likely covering the entire town. Oh, that's the end of it. That is the end of it. God damn, that is the end. So yeah, this episode, Dexter just desperately trying to kind of find kind of new ways to like dispose of and prevent Matt's body from being discovered and everything. So that was cool-ish. We had so there are wildlife cameras over the Seneca reservation too. And I think I think those are wildlife cameras too. I think they're not like specific to like any actual kind of privacy invasive kind of surveillance or anything. It being wildlife, it being Seneca reservation, it being reservation land, and by that kind of definition, like kind of like sacred and kind of really kind of private land. I figure like equipment or technology of any kind, anything like that would kind of be forbidden or kind of like it would be kind of like looked down upon. I think chances are maybe it still is, but then it's thermal imaging, so you really can't tell who it is. Just the fact that someone is there because their body signature, the body heat signature. And for another thing, it's also like I think he also mentioned like it's specifically like a wildlife camera, not like actual kind of criminal surveillance equipment. It's a wildlife camera, so I think he probably just uses it to like track animals or to like just kind of keep like a watch of how many animals are in the area and what they're doing and what their behaviors are and everything. So it's just like like casual kind of surveillance of like actual wildlife and animals and making sure they're okay and stuff like that. So I think probably even working to hopefully maybe kind of help prevent something like the white buck thing from happening, or even actually help aiding in like further answers into the white buck thing. So that was that. So then thermal imaging caught. I'm pretty sure thermal imaging caught both Dexter and Matt, but I think they weren't together. So I think it caught Matt. So I think it wasn't even specifically positioned towards it. I thought because I thought maybe the footage would be of the deer getting shot, so then Dexter would still definitely be in like in that kind of frame. So I thought it would it would actually be able to capture Dexter and Matt in the same frame. But no, it caught Matt just after he kind of had that celebration after having shot the white buck, and then it actually caught Dexter before that. Walking through the woods trying to find the white buck and everything. So I think it didn't catch either of their faces. I think again thermal imaging, so it didn't catch either of their faces or didn't really identify them in that way. But it kind of gave away clear enough shots of their weapons. So Dexter, having sold those weapons and used them, he was called in to identify and actually make sure that the gun that Matt's kind of figure had was the one that Matt had actually been given by Dexter. So yeah, so there was that whole thing. And I think, by the end of it, I think I'm honestly, on the one hand, I'm surprised that it took Dexter as long as it did for him to actually reach that conclusion of actually disposing of the body in like a much more kind of effective and much more kind of, destructive kind of way. Because I think, fair play to him. The only thing I think, did he ever burn a body before? I don't think he's ever actually burned a body before. I think has he in the original series? I can't explicitly remember. I think the majority of the time he buries them. The majority of the time he dismembers them and he buries them, and stuff. And he buries them in the ocean. That's what he does the majority of the time. So I think I can't, I think I think he's had some emergency cases here and there of how he kills them, but I think he's always tried to bury them the same way. He's always tried to actually get rid of the body parts in the same way and everything. So I think I don't think he's ever actually burned them before. So because of that, I think it's not too implausible that he might not think of burning it immediately. So then, so then I think it wasn't until the very end, and then until he actually clocked the bonfire, and then the bonfire and the body being burned, and actually processed that he actually realized, oh, he could easily just burn the body, and then have, Matt's ashes literally raining down upon. So I think that is honestly just so, creepy and so weird to think about the fact that, Matt's ashes are literally raining over I think likely the entire town. I think it's just kind of like going up into the sky and then actually kind of collapsing down again, and it's coming down on the town. So Matt is literally raining down upon them one last time as well. I say one last time. I don't know when he rained down upon them before, but still, I think that whole kind of sight, that whole kind of it was a great shot and it was a great kind of piece of symbolism, but just so creepy. It was so creepy to think about, and he's just literally driving through a cloud of Matt and everything. So that was that, but I think he didn't really kind of figure out until the very end, until he saw the bonfire, that, oh yeah, I could also just burn the body. I could burn the body and stuff. And I think on the one hand, again on the one hand, it shows how because he's been struggling already enough with actually reusing his old routine after years of not having done anything in relation to it at all. So I think he killed someone, then he had to really hastily dispose of the body and hastily mark away the crime scene and everything, and then it still got discovered. In the end, especially the white buck shot, the white buck murder kind of scene got turned into another one, and then the CSI guy actually managed to uncover even more little clues about exactly how the altercation went down. So all the stuff was being uncovered. So he was actually this episode. This episode was essentially just Dexter kind of slowly come to the realization of just how sloppy he had become in the 10 years that he hadn't killed or disposed of any bodies and everything. So just him kind of having his mistakes kind of pointed out to him and just kind of being shoved in his face and everything. So that was that. He did that. So then that was I think with the investigation, I think the investigation will likely go on. But then now now he can rest a little bit easier knowing that the body will never be found. I highly doubt. I mean, if they're gonna go if they're gonna go as far as having someone actually finding ashes on the floor and testing that, I really don't think you can actually test ashes. I think ashes are pretty much actually how bodily cells are damaged and decayed beyond repair or beyond identification. So I think if someone finds ashes, it's so things get burned all the time. And I think that's gonna be the whole thing about the white buck thing too, even though that's kind of further away and stuff, and the incinerator thing was still kind of within the reach of the town and everything. But either way, even if someone finds a deer, I think no one's really going to believe them, and it's going to be really far fetched. So I think that's the one thing you can rest easy about. But then the rest of it, alibis and stories and stuff like that, he's going to have to really kind of try and work hard on from here on out. So there's that. But now Matt's body is completely disposed of, so that's good. That's a good sign. So he has one less thing to worry about. And yeah, I mean, I thought especially with the dogs being brought in too. So I thought my mind flashed back to Misfits when Simon kind of found out that in that show, when Simon found out that some kind of community or some kind of some kind of building was actually going to be built over the site where he buried two people that him and some of his friends had actually killed, and then one of which, and then the other guy was one that the guy they killed and everything. So that whole thing happened, and then he his idea was to actually take the bodies out, but then bury an even deeper hole, so then the bodies would literally be under the foundation. So then, when they went digging to actually start doing the foundation, they wouldn't find the bodies, but they could just dig a little bit deeper and bury even further down. So that way, no one would be any the wiser. I thought Dexter would try that out, actually try and dig deeper. But I think with his area, I don't know if that's actually specifically possible either, because I think he lives near a lake, and then there's no telling exactly how cold the ground, how cold or frozen the ground under there is. So there's no telling. I mean, he even said that the cemetery, the ground is too frozen this time of year too, so it'd be a nightmare to dig through that. So I think God only knows how his front yard, caked in snow and ice, is going to be. So probably hard enough for him to actually dig it that far down. So doing it even deeper would probably be a good enough amount of time's work, and then it'll probably even raise even more suspicions too. So then burning it away would be the far more definitive answer there too. So yeah, Matt's body's officially gone. So I think now going forward, I think now he's just gonna have to try and keep his story straight and try and avoid kind of trying to avoid letting any any loose secrets past his lips and everything, and actually try and keep his kind of cover from being blown, and actually try and protect Harrison from any blowback from this as well. Because I think the last thing that kid needs is to be involved in this and to kind of be and to start seeing people having suspected his father as a murderer and everything too. So yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. And they did a bonfire thing for the deer too, like an actual ceremonial kind of bonfire thing for the deer, which was neat. And I thought I didn't even. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Angela was actually insistent on the fact that the criminal investigation stuff wasn't over yet. So then, until then, the deer was still counted as actual evidence and everything. And then she said, say it is over now, and we can do whatever we want. What would you do? So I thought that was the hypothetical. What would you want to do kind of thing? But then no, apparently she already told everyone that it was happening tonight, and apparently they could do it then. But I think at this point they've gotten the bullet from the deer, and they've kind of established that the deer was, like a huge aspect of the thing. So I think they already know. I think at this point, they either already know everything, or they have enough information from the deer that they can move on with the rest of actually trying to find Matt and see what happened to him, and actually trying to investigate the other mystery shooter and everything. So I think at this point the deer is like common and accepted knowledge, like everyone actually knows it was involved, and no one can really kind of deny it or kind of remove it from evidence or anything like that. So because of that, they can actually use it for the actual kind of memorial reasons too. So yeah, but they gave that a nice ceremony too. The Seneca people came together to actually give that a nice kind of bonfire ceremony. So that was really good, really cool to see. So that was, like a nice kind of send off for them, especially like an animal, a wild animal actually having been killed on their land and everything, on their reservation land, and actually them being able to give it like a peaceful kind of send off and everything was really nice to see this. So that was cool. Then there's the whole kids in school situation. I think I would be lying if right. From the moment I saw the kids in episode 2, I think it was, I figured, okay, so they're high school kids, so I think that stuff might kind of come into play. Maybe mildly this season, but then we'll just see how it goes. And then this episode, and then they even mentioned, even Angela mentioning Harrison being enrolled into high school too. I thought, okay, maybe that she might need to explore exactly how this would go. And then even in this episode, they show him actually, they show him actually being enrolled into high school, him taking the actual placement test and all that kind of stuff. So that was, I think, a bit of both sides, like his academic kind of talents were explored in this, and also his actual social kind of talents and his social skills and the kind of social kind of like life in school, in high school, was explored in this too. So that was interesting to see. I think starting off with Harrison too, he is an extremely smart kid. He's an extremely bright kid. I think the first time they explicitly stated that he actually scored higher than any other student had before on the actual placement test, and then apparently it's because they left him with his cell phone. Apparently, but taking any test, I'm pretty sure no matter what test you're taking, no matter how many no matter which kind of attempt this is, I'm pretty sure no matter what test you're taking, they have to take your cell phone at the beginning. So I don't know why they didn't do that at the beginning, or even actually keep it locked up where he couldn't find it. Because then if they suspect him of having used a cell phone, it either means that they must have let him keep it on his person, or they must have actually not kind of actually locked their way in a place that he couldn't access it. So that honestly just seems like they kind of somehow feel threatened by the new kid in town not only actually successfully passing the exam the first time round, but then actually acing the crap out of it too. So somehow they think, no way could a new kid like this that we know nothing about, suddenly perform this one on test. Like he must have been cheating. He must have actually cheated or abused the system, or he must have done something wrong and stuff. And apparently the teacher left the teacher left for 15 minutes, and then she came back in and he was done, and he scored that high marks too. So I think, then and then to make matters worse for Harrison too, Dexter doesn't believe him, and he kind of thinks that he must have actually, he even actually questions him, did you cheat? Did you actually use something else to actually help you pass this, or is this actually your raw intelligence and everything? So that didn't really help Harrison either. And I think one thing one other thing that this episode proved too is that Harrison has no problem lauding Dexter's kind of sins against him over his head too. Are you accusing me of lying? Huh? Not telling the truth about hiding something, Jim? Isn't that kind of your forte? Is that really where I excel? Isn't that really your kind of forte and your kind of pool of talents and everything like lying, manipulating the truth, and keeping secrets from people? Isn't that really your thing? And just almost any other instance you get, or almost any other instance you get, it's like even the breakfast thing, like like Dexter being like, "Oh, I'm sorry I wasn't here to actually make you breakfast this morning." He's like, it's fine. I've been taking care of myself for the past, 10 years without you. So, like, I know how to make my own breakfast, I know how to make my own food, and I know how to do this, that, and the other. So, almost any chance he gets to laud his independence and his kind of tormented past of Dexter, he will. I think Dexter, I think Dexter is slowly starting to realize that too. Because then yeah, even when Harrison asked him, like, are you gonna give me a ride, or am I gonna have to walk all by myself like an abandoned child or something? Like, obviously not using those words, but still, his implication being like, his implication being, are you gonna take me to school like the dad you are, or are you gonna leave me to walk alone by myself? And then Dexter being like, this fucking kid, I should have just left you outside or something. So it's gonna be interesting to actually. I mean, it's been interesting so far, but I think going forward now, I think we actually might have like a slightly more kind of bonded and connected kind of relationship between the two of them. I think because so far we've had the first 3 episodes actually being them kind of having trouble connecting and them having trouble kind of actually patching the distance together and everything. So that should be fixed by the next episode. So that should be cool. And I think he called him dad too. He called him dad for the first time, so that was like a huge kind of step up from what they've had before. So that's cool. So he goes 3 episodes calling him Jim, and then all of a sudden, right at the very end, it's like, "Hey, thanks, Dad. Thank you, Dad." So yeah, I mean, he used to call him Dad all the time. As a little toddler, he used to call him Dad and Daddy all the times, and then now he's actually come back to Dad and everything too. I think even in front of even in front of the other villagers, he used to call him Jim and everything, like instead of Dad. So I wonder if that's actually if that's going to translate there too. So. Yeah, it should be fun. But basically they thought he cheated, and then then as pissed off as he felt, he still offered to actually he still managed to take the test a second time. I think not only did he retake the test, he got a higher mark the second time around too. And I think that time you can probably kind of like safely assume, okay, they definitely took away his phone and anything else he might actually anything else they might suspect him of using in the test to try and cheat or anything. But then it's like, nope, his intellect and his intelligence comes into effect again, and he actually scores higher the second time around, showing that he actually deserves to be here. So yeah, I think the way that scene in the actual office started, like the way that scene started, I thought I did not think that they would actually suspect him of cheating. I thought the way they were going with that would be like, I mean, because they even said that some of the questions on that test paper were to do with advanced placement stuff and like even college level stuff. So I thought the argument they were going to be making was like, oh, Harrison's clearly too smart for high school. Maybe we should actually just enroll him onto a college course now and let him flourish and thrive and blossom as the beautiful intellectual flower he is. But then no, it's just like, oh, your boy comes in here one day and aces the first test we give him. That's that's really sus behavior. That's really suspect behavior. So we got to retest him and make sure he's not cheating or trying to trick our system or anything. So. Yeah, but then he showed them, and he showed them well. So, and then we had Zach, and I don't know what was it? Zach and Nathan. What was the other kid's name? I think he had it labeled on the thing. He had it labeled on the drawings. The drawings which are fucking messed up, but drawings nonetheless. Zach and Scott. Yeah, okay, we're gonna come back to the drawings in a second, but yeah, so Zach and Scott were catfishing. I didn't even realize that to begin with. I think it completely flew past me that they were actually catfishing him with a girl's kind of identity and everything. And it's like undeniably, the more creepy and the more kind of actual like messed up stuff coming from them too. Like they were actually sending him nudes of like another girl. That I mean. God knows how they got their hands on that footage. Like if it was just like downloaded off some kind of website or like just somewhere on the internet, or if they actually managed to hack like another girl's phone and actually steal her stuff or whatever. But they were sending him like fake nudes and pretending to be like another girl, and then I think he was just sending them like random anime drawings or something. Like he was being pretty harmless and innocent and just actually like him thinking he was actually talking to like the first real person in his life to. Albeit over a phone, over text and everything, he was still being pretty harmless. He was just kind of like he just liked drawing anime figures and anime artwork and everything. And he was just kind of like sharing that stuff with us. So that was that is like a pretty normal thing to send. But then with them, they're actively tormenting him and mocking him and teasing him and doing all this shit. And I think without him even knowing, without him even knowing that the girl is actually fake and it's actually Zack and Scott on the other end and everything. So Harrison clocked this pretty early on, and he had to put a stop to. He had to put a stop to this and actually save the innocent from being further tormented, so he had to do that, which he did. He actually helped Ethan come up with like a cool Photoshop of I think it was actually one of them kind of screwing a goat or something, and then that apparently pissed him off too, and then Harrison came in clutch with the whole kind of very physical force choking thing. He had the guy gripped by the throat to the point of near paralysis and everything, and he actually got the message in and everything, so that was cool. So Harrison, he's a protector. He's a protector. So it's good to know that he's smart and he can fight back and everything. He's not afraid to stand up to assholes and everything. So that's really cool to know. And he's even been a bit encouraged to actually join wrestling too. And he actually made it onto the team. So that was cool. So yeah, I think I mean him both being Jim's son. I think Logan kind of Captain Logan himself actually recommended Harrison for the actual wrestling team, so he actually knew going in that he'd be like a great pick. So then he gave him like a fair trial, and then Harrison passes in both brains and brawn apparently, so he actually made onto the wrestling team. So he was actually looking forward to seeing those guys on the mat and teaching them further lessons if need be. So that was that whole thing. But yeah, just catfishing, just a stupid and dangerous kind of thing to do, and it's just really fucking messed up to have people kind of fall victim to that as well. So that was very briefly kind of shown in this. So that was that. But then I mean with Ethan, I mean. Yeah, Ethan. I mean, again, I think even in the car, I think Harrison did mention that he's actually been bullied by he's been bullied and tormented by them since I think like the 6th or 8th grade or something. That's like since childhood he's been tormented by them, and it's a small town. It's a small town like Audrey said. So you're stuck, like until you leave and until you go somewhere else, you're stuck pretty much with these people your entire life and everything. So he's been stuck with them for years since childhood, and that's been years of them actually tormenting him and actually harassing him and everything. So that's been that. So then that's kind of fed into him. He's absorbed that. He's had to process that in really fucked up ways, and that's kind of fed back into. I think that's actually kind of like fed back into his kind of love of art and his passion for art and everything. But it's also fed back in a very very kind of like in like a very very kind of threatening looking kind of way. So he's actually like he was not kidding when he said he fantasized about actually standing up to Zack and Scott like that, and then Harrison actually did it. But then Harrison did it in like a fairly non-lethal way, but then with Zack, dude's got the reddest and most violent drawings. He's got drawings of both of them beheaded, of both of them having their hearts punched out and everything. He's got all sorts of actual drawings of both of them in very very kind of physically lethal and violent kind of situations and everything. And then he's even got like one of his own kind of self portraits of him as of him seemingly as the Punisher. He has actually the whole skull and crossbones thing and the guns and everything. So, I mean, knowing this kind of background and this kind of setting and this kind of time and all the things that have had similar backstories to this, I really hope they don't go down the whole kind of school shooting kind of path. I'm really hoping they don't go down that kind of path, and they don't turn Zach and they don't turn Ethan into that, and they don't have Ethan kind of succumbing to those kind of to that kind of darkness, or even actually have Ethan kind of feeling like that's the only thing to do, because I mean, Harrison did teach them a lesson to actually not mess with them anymore. But then like unarguably, if either of them does actually try anything against Ethan again, then Harrison will find out and he'll actually he'll kick it up a notch if need be. But then in like a fairly non-lethal way. So I'm really hoping that they don't just randomly turn Ethan into like a random kind of gun-toting kind of monster or something in the name of justice or vengeance or whatever. So really hoping they don't go down that path and just leave these drawings and fantasies as fantasies. But then I think Ethan also just needs help. I think if he's not already kind of undergoing some kind of like therapy or counseling, I think he just really really needs that. And he just, I mean, I think it's good enough that he actually has art as an outlet, and he's at least able to express his things, his actual kind of his thoughts and his kind of stresses through his artwork and stuff like that. But then this kind of stuff can easily be a sign that leads down to something much kind of darker and much more dangerous if it's not detected and caught onto and actually helped out early on. So yeah, hopefully Ethan gets the help he needs, and hopefully he doesn't actually get pulled down that path. So hopefully, he's hoping. And then yeah, we have what is potentially the new antagonist, the new serial killer antagonist that Dexter may have to face. I think now that the Matt Caldwell stuff is kind of cooling itself down a bit, I think now we can open ourselves up to Dexter then once again having to revisit yet another demon from his past, which is not only himself killing, but also having to come up against another killer and having to come up against another potential serial killer. And I think we have there's this motel. I think I'm pretty sure it is a motel. I'm pretty sure I think like a motel, or at least or at least like a remote building disguised as a motel too. Like on the inside it looks like a motel, but then on the outside it's like a remote kind of cabin or remote kind of building of some kind where the guy just kind of lures people and then kills them and everything and stuff. So he keeps them trapped. He gives them really dodgy food and drink, and then he kind of warns them that death is imminent through the camera and everything. And then afterwards, he let her out in the middle of the night and everything. And then he tracked her down with the laser scope sniper rifle. I mean, again, to be fair, I think when you're in that situation, it's a very different kind of thing. Like, when you're in that situation, it's fight or flight, and you're pumping full of adrenaline, your mind is racing, you don't know what to think, so you just kind of run. The only thought you would probably have is just running as far and as fast as you can. But then she looked back, and I'm pretty sure she saw the laser sight, if anything, and I'm pretty sure she saw the figure at the, on the roof with the gun, and then she saw the laser sight, so then I think within the last few seconds of her life, she must have kind of put two and two together, and she realized that, she was about to be shot, so then, it's easy to say from this end, oh, just run in zigzags, do this, do that, do the other, actually try and survive. But then if in the moment, the chances of actual survival are dependent on how calm you are in that situation. So then with her, she was not very calm at all. So she can't really be blamed for any of that. This is blame fully goes on the guy in the mask. I think the guy wearing the mask too. I think that the eyes. I don't know. I mean, I try and recognize the eyes at least, but I think the eyes. Didn't really hit me until I saw Edward Olsen again later on in the episode. So I think I'm wondering if maybe he could be the villain. I think I'm wondering if he could be the villain. Maybe like maybe if they're kind of setting him up to be some kind of secret kind of killer, but as well as being like a petro billionaire or something. But I feel like that would be kind of too obvious. Because again, like people hate him because of what he does and because of how corporate he is and how greedy he is with his kind of business ventures and everything, but not because he actually kills people in that way. So I think maybe turning him into a serial killer might be a bit too easy or a bit too kind of simple. So instead, actually turning someone else with maybe like a history or maybe some kind of other kind of dark secret that they're holding might be the key. So don't know if it's someone that we've already met, if it's someone we should expect, or maybe if it's someone else completely who's kind of living on the outskirts of Iron Lake, and maybe someone who's actually not really as well known by the community. So maybe someone who actually has an easier time blending in because they're not as well known by the community, or maybe because they're not really someone who actually lives in the community, but maybe someone who doesn't live in the community, but maybe someone who just lives in Iron Lake. So maybe they live in the town, but they don't specifically live within the community and within its kind of social kind of circles itself. So maybe someone who actually manages to blend in and disappear. It's like that. So maybe I don't know if we actually have to kind of if we have to be able to guess who it is, or if it's actually gonna be like a surprising new face that we haven't seen before or something. So that's the question. But yeah, so that new kind of antagonist is gonna be so I mean, there's no definitive kind of sign that is a serial killer, because I think the only one we've seen them kill is that woman. It is the girl from the bar who actually went to the motel and had the dodgy food and actually had all of her stuff stolen. So I think she's the only one we've seen so far. But there's no guarantee that she's the only one that's died this week or this 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 kind of like within the time frame of the show. I do wonder, maybe is that what happened to Iris? Maybe she went missing, but then she actually got lured into his motel, and then and then she kind of got released the same way, and then she got shot down the same way. If that's what happened to her, because then I really wouldn't want Iris to be dead, but then maybe if that's actually the truth behind her disappearance, because then she disappeared, and I think there's no. I'm not really sure if there's any if I'm not sure if there's been any kind of any reference as to how long she's been missing. I'm not sure if there's been any references as to how long she's actually been missing. So then maybe that way, if they can really kind of like if they're inching closer and closer to missing, presumed dead, or maybe if they're inching closer and closer to dead, if they're inching closer to like a point where they can actually kind of presume her dead or actually confirm her dead because nothing's been found. And so far there's been no real kind of like talk of how that case is going and how like if there's been any evidence found for Iris's missing persons case, or if there's like, because I think the last thing we heard was the Seneca guy complaining that like when one of theirs goes missing, it's like, oh, runaways always show up again. So probably the case that they're just kind of waiting for evidence to show up, or they're waiting for evidence to show up, or they're waiting for Iris to show up, or something. So I'm really praying and hoping that Iris is like has not been like a previous victim of the motel killer guy. But knowing this show, and the kinds of tragic twists and turns it likes to pull, I would not be incredibly surprised if Iris turns out to be one of the earlier victims, or even one of the first victims of the motel killer. So I don't know, but all we know is that woman from the bar is the most recent one. She's the most recent one, and I think God knows what he did, what he actually did with the body. Because I think that one is yet another actual killing. So that is one that, and even Dexter heard the gunshot, but then he assumed that it would be a hunter up and early trying to kill some animals or something. So he heard the gunshot, but then he never actually kind of investigated or actually kind of came to realize it was actually like another person being killed by another person. So there's a question of that. So I think how he's gonna dispose of the body, we don't yet know, unless he knows of the furnace too. So then maybe that way he can actually try and dispose of the body that way and just keep on killing and stuff. So there's that. I think I was fully kind of preparing myself for the kind of review at the end of that final shot of the furnace being like, oh, someone's actually in the distance. Maybe either someone's in the distance watching Dexter burning something at the incinerator, or the motel killer, mask and all, is actually watching Dexter. Now he knows that Jim Lindsay actually has had something to dispose of in the furnace, and now he actually knows that Jim Lindsay kind of has some secrets of his own, and he's actually doing some really kind of shady stuff off the books and everything. So maybe that would have been the twist that, oh, he comes along to actually burn the girl's body, but then he actually comes to actually find Dexter already in use of the furnace and actually using it to actually burn something else. So yeah, but no one. I think. Well, as far as we know, no one's the one. I don't know if they're actually gonna flash back to someone actually having been on the corner, or maybe if they're gonna actually flash back to that killer being on the corner and actually watching Dexter burning Matt's body. But so far, we haven't seen anyone having sussed them out even further. So we remain clear in that aspect so far for now. So that's that. That is that. But no, I mean the motel girl's body. I don't know if he actually disposed of it, but I think it was drained. I think he put like a bunch of different kind of pins and tubes in her neck and everything, and then in one tube there was some other kind of light pinkish fluid coming in and being pumped into her body, and then out the other tube, so like her blood was actually being drained out. So I'm pretty sure. I think he actually put that tube into like a proper bucket too. So I'm wondering if maybe if that one is actually draining her body of blood and then maybe putting something else in. So I think don't know exactly what that kind of a procedure is. Like actually actually replacing the fluid in someone's body with something else. I think that is pretty much all of her bodily kind of blood as well. So I think if he is replacing the blood with something else, then I don't know what he plans on doing with it, or what he plans on replacing it with, or why he's replacing it. Like maybe if that's his way of actually replacing, of actually kind of disposing of the body somehow. Maybe if it's like an acid or something that maybe kind of burns the body from the inside out, so maybe actually disintegrates the body from the inside out. So if you put it inside the body, then actually kind of melts away all the organs and stuff. And maybe if that's how it does it, or maybe if he's really twisted and just kind of keeps it like not lobotomized, but like 'cause I mean, I don't know if he actually did put anything up the nose. I think lobotomy is actually going up the nose and removing the brain and stuff. I think so. Don't know if he actually were. I can't remember if there were actually any brain shots in that final sequence, but definitely stuff going into the neck and everything. So maybe actually replacing all the stuff inside, either replacing it inside for whatever reason, or actually kind of disposing it by pumping other kind of chemicals into it. That would actually erase the inner contents and actually make the body somewhat easier to get rid of or something. But either way, it's creepy. It's disturbing. He killed her with with a sniper bullet, and then actually dragged her body back inside, and then decided to, experiment with it even further. So the motel killer, the newest adversary for Dexter to face. I think now Dexter is going to find out in very, very kind of damaging and very, very exhausting ways that, him killing is not the only demon from his past that is revisiting him. Now he has to actually kind of discover. Now he and the rest of Iron Lake has to discover that there's actually a serial killer living amongst them, or at least like a killer besides from Dexter living among them, and they are actively killing innocent people. I think Dexter, he killed Matt out of anger and vengeance and stuff like that and everything. So with him, that was his motive. But then with the motel killer, he killed like an innocent young girl, and then actually and then actually drained her body of blood afterwards and everything. So very different motives and very different reasons for doing what they did here. So yeah, the motel killer is about to be reckoned with. He is about to become a force to be reckoned with. So yeah. And I think very briefly at the dinner table, when Angela and Audrey and Harrison were kind of happily chatting and talking about stuff, I think Dexter did have that kind of very brief, momentary kind of inner monologue of him actually somehow having found a family again. So I think we already know he's deeply kind of in love with Angela, and Angela's deeply in love with him, and they're both great together. They're both great together, and they're really happy together. So that's already settled. I think stuff is still kind of brewing, and stuff is still kind of brewing and actually being warmed up between Audrey and Dexter. Like she's still kind of taking some time to actually really kind of warm up to him and actually get to know him and everything. So that they're all in good time. That will come. She already seems to be getting along really well with Harrison and everything. Like they have no problem hanging out and talking and chatting and everything. So that's cool. So Dexter then ever so briefly had a moment of actually kind of maybe realizing that maybe this could be his new family. Like he has Harrison back. Harrison is already his son. And he wants to. I think he hopes to have like a future with Angela too, and potentially with Audrey too. And actually having Angela and Audrey in his life in mutually kind of positive and emotionally healthy kind of ways and everything. So yeah, I think it was ever so brief, but I think it was ever so brief, but I think it was like a nice enough kind of hint and like a nice enough tease to the fact that deep down Dexter still kind of feels that kind of love in his heart, and he still kind of wants that for himself and for and for Harrison as well. So. I guess only time will really tell exactly how that stuff will go down in this season. Again, I really don't know if this is it. Really don't know if this is going to be like a one-off series, or if there's going to be if there's going to be an actual season 2 to this, or if it's going to be like a kind of like a reboot in that sense too. Maybe if it's actually going to be like a multiple season kind of series or something. But I guess we have to wait and see exactly what the finale holds, and see if the finale see how the story continues, and then see if the finale itself actually holds any kind of open ends that need connecting or closing or whatever. But I guess all in good time, So and then at the very end, Kurt as well. He was really drunk and really kind of giddy and everything, and then he claimed that Matt not only talked to him, but then he also FaceTimed him too. So he actually presumably facing himself. I think it's undeniable that Kurt was incredibly drunk in that scene too. So I think like chances are he probably kind of watched like an old video of Matt on his phone and thought, oh, this must be what FaceTiming is. So he probably had like an older video of Matt talking to him on his phone or something. So then he kind of like mistook that in his drunkenness to be Matt FaceTiming him and actually talking to him in real time. Or the slightly creepier version, someone out there actually sent him like a new video of Matt, like a more recent video of Matt, and actually kind of passed it off as actually him being FaceTime too. So then like maybe someone out there actually knows the truth, or maybe someone out there actually has access to Matt's kind of files and things, and then maybe they're actually trying to manipulate the situation, actually try and get Kurt to kind of keep believing that Matt is still out there and that he's still alive or something. So then they probably had access to Matt's files from his phone or something, and then they maybe sent him a newer video. Kind of giving him false hope and everything, but then I think it's a good thing then that even if that did happen, even if on the off chance that did happen, it's a very good thing that happened when he was drunk. So then he probably kind of sound like less serious about it. But then because then if he was sober, he would be hunting the source of that file down to the ends of the earth, and even actually alerting Angela about it, and actually kind of like using that as prime kind of lead material in the search for Matt. So. It's a good thing, even if that did happen, it happened when he was drunk, so then that way, he can actually kind of take some time to rest and think about what he's going to do and do all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but apparently he got caught. Apparently he got like a FaceTime from Matt, and that kind of got him all giddy and stuff for the rest of the night. So, yeah, I guess only time will tell exactly what the future of this investigation holds for us. So, yeah. And I think, yeah, Dexter's kind of still kind of caught in that kind of continuous loop of Deborah's kind of hallucinations in his head, kind of constantly chastising him and constantly berating him for all the stuff he's doing, and like for keeping this stuff going, and for, you know, continuously reminding him of how badly he fucked up to actually get to this position and everything, and she's in his head just constantly kind of chastising him and actually holding a gun to his head and constantly trying to, you know, physically assault him or kill him or choke him or something. So, you know, like Deborah in his head is not too happy. Like Deborah in his head is not only the ghost of the Deborah that died, but then it's also like a manifestation of his own past, telling him to stop revisiting it, and his own past reminding him what happens when his, you know, his demons and his dark passenger resurfaces and actually does anything in the present day. So, you know, Deborah is pretty much the manifestation of his own kind of the side of him telling him not to revisit this stuff, and don't do this again. Don't draw any attention to yourself. Don't draw any attention to Harrison and stuff. So seeing that kind of side of him reflected, seeing that side of him reflected to him through Deborah is actually like I think it's like a really interesting parallel, because again Deborah would absolutely be the one kind of telling him like to not do risky shit and to kind of, you know, stop playing risky games and try and actually cover this up as quickly and as soon as he could, so that he could actually get back to doing stuff. And I think she also I don't know what the real Deborah would say about the Harrison stuff, like after all the stuff kind of happened, because then it's all still kind of circumstantial based on the actual finale and what Dexter did because of Deborah's death and everything. But, you know, pretty much everything that Deborah is saying is what Dexter is thinking. But then it's also like the fact that, you know, like Deborah's face and voice kind of reflecting that onto him is also kind of like shifting that perspective a little bit for him and actually making him think that, you know, and actually making him feel like a bit different in the way that he fully believes that his sister would also actually say this stuff say this stuff to him after what she knew that he did. So it's a very interesting kind of way to kind of parallel his own thoughts back into his own head. So yeah, but yeah, I think so far as of right now, that is pretty much all I've got. I think I covered all my bases with my notes and everything else. I think the overall kind of vibe of the episode definitely kind of to continue the story in like a comfortable pace and at a comfortable pace and in like a really kind of sensible kind of way. So I'm really enjoying how the story's going so far. I think so far they're doing a really stellar job with this kind of sequel and with this new series, and actually kind of carrying on Dexter's story after all these years, and actually kind of bringing new stuff into the light whilst kind of maintaining some older kind of characteristics and older kind of story elements and everything. So it's actually really it's going really well. I'm actually really enjoying this, so I really can't wait to see how stuff progresses from here, and actually how easier and or harder things actually get for Dexter, and seeing how he actually deals with all these new dilemmas and all these new pressures and everything. So, and the kid for Harrison is doing really great too. I think at this point, after this episode, I really can't help but after this episode, I really can't help but just kind of be shocked at like how far we've come with Harrison too. Because then, you know, again, we've only ever known him in the previous series as a toddler, as like a sweet innocent kind of toddler who, you know, had his whole life ahead of him, and now he's such like a, you know, traumatized and damaged kind of kid who just wanted his dad back, and he fought tooth and claw to actually get his dad back, and then now he has such a dark history behind him, and he's kind of moving forward with this really kind of not cynical, but he's moving forward into the world with like a hardened and really kind of like hardened / strengthened, and also kind of like a more, you know, like a realistic kind of view of the world, that the world isn't fair, the world isn't always going to be easy and bright and everything, and he just has to kind of has to look after himself, and he just kind of has to watch out for himself and everything. So he's very, very different from the kind of Harrison we knew and loved from before. So yeah, gonna be interesting to see how his journey progresses on here too. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I think so far, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got from this one. So until the next time, that'll be it. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then absolutely leave a like, and feel free to leave your comments on here too, saying what you thought and how you felt about this episode, and how you felt about the story, and what your theories are going forward for the season 2. Anyone interested in the full-length reaction, will be available on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. So that'll be cool too. So yeah, I will see you all in the next reaction. So bye bye for now.